Hi there, thanks for coming to this 5-minute class. I'm Jennifer Croft and I'll be teaching you Is Self-Employment Right for You? If you like this class, we have a lot of other classes as well as free resources available at www.5minuteclasses.com. Okay, so before we dive into the bulk of this class, the meat of it, I'd like you to stop. If you haven't already done this, I'd like you to pause this right here and go back to the website and download the Self-Employment Assessment Quiz. It's on the website under the section of Worksheets. And I designed this 25 question quiz, and you can answer it probably in 5 minutes or less. In fact, I really do want you to answer each question very quickly with a yes, a no, or a maybe, and then you'll go ahead and total your score and come on back and rejoin us. So these questions are based on patterns that I've seen over the years. I've taught more than 3,000 people how to start and run their own small businesses. And these are some of the patterns I've seen of qualities that it seemed like it would take to really be successful at self-employment. So let's talk for a second about the top causes of small business failure. And these are the main reasons that I think small businesses fail. And the first is that it's just a bad idea. It wasn't a very good idea to begin with. The second is maybe it was a good idea, but the business model itself had something wrong with it. Pricing was too low, or it was hard to do effective marketing. Something was wrong just in the way that everything was thought out. The third is poor execution. You can have a great idea, a great business model, and yet someone didn't do a very good job of executing with it. I see that happen a fair amount. Next is too much competition, and I see this less often than you might think, and that's primarily because I work with really small businesses that are usually it's people that want to be self-employed and they want to hire themselves first and maybe a couple other people, but they're not trying to create these massive empires, and so there's usually enough room in the marketplace for them to carve out a good living. And next, I would say most small business owners that don't succeed would blame their failure on a lack of money, but the lack of money usually only comes, the only reason you need to keep putting in a ton of money to a business is because it was a bad idea or because there was something wrong with the business model or execution or competition. So I don't find this as often as you would think. And then finally, I've got the last one highlighted in yellow because really I think most small businesses fail because of the owners themselves. And so this can be that they didn't put enough time into it, that they didn't have the right skill set, that they tried to start something that was too big or complicated or expensive. But it really, I've seen in my experience that it usually comes down to the business owners. And so what does it mean to be your own boss? What's this going to be like? And you can see on this slide that I have the word self on here a lot. It is self-employment, and to be good at it, you're going to have to be self-motivated, self-disciplined, self-directed, self-sufficient. I mean, you can see me harping on this term self, and that's because a lot of times I think people think they aren't going to have a boss, and that's not true. You still need a boss. You're just going to have to be that boss, and so it'll help a lot if you have some of these traits naturally. The other thing I think is important when you're trying to make a decision about whether running a business would be right for you is the timing of it. And so, are you going to be able to focus on the business, give it the time and energy it needs? Are you physically and emotionally healthy right now? Do you have the time, money, and resources? And finally, there's a question of is the timing right in the marketplace? And so when it comes to self-employment, most people would fully understand that, okay, the cost is going to be how much I invest in the business before it breaks even. And in this slide, that amount is 25,000. But I also want you to think about the true opportunity cost, which is also the salary that you might have to give up as you're trying to reach that break even point. And so in this example, I'm assuming that you're making 50,000 a year and it takes you a year and a half, your true opportunity cost is going to be $100,000. So I just want you to know that going in. And so to give yourself the best chance, go back to that quiz now and look at all of your no or maybe answers and see if there's something you could do to compensate and get some help. And that'll position you to give you the best chance of success. As an example, if you answered no, I'm not good with money, then all you need to do is hire a bookkeeper and meet with them regularly. So here are some great next steps you can take following up on this class. And here are some worksheets that pertain to this class. And finally, we have a free newsletter that you can also sign up so that you can keep learning. So thanks for coming to this class and best of luck with your business.